Well, staying with the weather theme, and June's weather may have felt erratic to many of us. Weeks of unusual cold, followed by a heatwave in some parts of the country. But for some users on social media, there was nothing random about it, and that's because in their view, the weather has been deliberately manipulated. Falsehoods and conspiracy theories about the weather have been gaining traction online. BBC Verify has been investigating. Here's Marco Silva.
For the first couple of weeks in June, the UK experienced temperatures around 2 degrees lower than average. And primarily this was due to big masses of cold air coming in from the Arctic region. So-called weather manipulation had nothing to do with it. The most well-known form of weather manipulation is cloud seeding. This is a technique that involves manipulating existing clouds to produce more rain or snow. And it's true, this has been done in places like the US, China and the UAE before. But while public records do show that there were cloud seeding experiments in this country back in the 1950s, the Met Office says it's not aware of any weather modification activity taking place in recent years. And it's also worth pointing out that the month of June was not only colder but also drier than average across the UK. But what about all the rain that fell during the winter and the spring? Surely some social media users claim that must be the result of some form of weather manipulation, of geoengineering even. Let's break that down. So scientists say climate change played a big role in the UK's waterlogged winter. And that is because in a rapidly warming planet like ours, warm air can hold more moisture, and this in turn can fuel more intense rainfall. Climate change may not be the only factor behind the wet weather, but it has certainly played an important role in it. Now, since January, mentions of geoengineering on X more than doubled worldwide compared to the last 6 months of 2023. But some users appear to be misrepresenting what the term actually stands for. Geoengineering means manipulating the environment to limit the effects of climate change. This could be done, for example, by removing greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, something the UK is actively researching. But there is no evidence to suggest that doing this has any impact on short-term weather. Geoengineering could also be done by reflecting some of the sun's energy back into space. That's what it's called, solar radiation management. The Department for Energy Security and Net Zero says the UK government is not deploying solar radiation management and that it has no plans to do so. At this point, you might be wondering, why does it matter that some of these bogus claims are spreading on social media? Well, in part, it's because they're having a real-world impact. Weather forecasters have described an increase in the amount of abuse they're getting online. Some social media users have been wrongly accusing them of lying to the public, of covering up what is supposedly really going on with the weather, through tweets like this one, right here. The Royal Meteorological Society condemns this abuse. Their chief executive told the BBC they work very closely with young scientists to encourage them to share their science with the public, but that these young scientists are fearful of the trolling that might take place. If you'd like to find out more about their story, you can read about it on the BBC's website.